Hey guys, welcome back to Series 3, Episode 5 of the house renovations.
We're using that term quite loosely at the moment. If you've watched this series so far, we're 5 episodes in, not a lot of house renovating has been happening so far, and as you're about to see in today's video, it's another video where we don't actually renovate the house. But what we do in today's video is hopefully in the future going to help with the renovating of the house.
It better do.
It better do.
So quite a lot of time has passed and quite a lot of you have been asking what we have done with the front of the house.
Before we go there,
Yes.
drum roll please, the grand reveal.
We have done absolutely nothing.
Look at the contrast of like a nice new kitchen, and then you've got this absolute
Disaster zone
out here. I mean, it's quite embarrassing showing this.
It is very embarrassing, but this, as you can tell, has been used as the storeroom. We have renovated the whole house up until this point, and this has been the room where we just store all the tools, all the bits, all the offcuts, all the stuff that we think is going to be useful. And that needs to change. But we do have a solution to sort this room out and empty it so we can actually carry on with the renovations.
So we have decided to buy a shed. And as you can see, it is a flat pack shed. So it's not as easy as just basically plonking a shed at the bottom end of the garden. And in typical James and Hollie fashion, come with me, Hollie. We're not just going to be replacing our old shed at the end of the garden. Oh no, we have decided that we're going to be basically taking out and removing our greenhouse. As you can see, we've already taken all of the glass out and everything out that was in it. This greenhouse is basically going to be taken up and moved a bit further down, and then the new shed is going to be going exactly in the place of the greenhouse. The main reason behind that is this is an apple tree and it has massive apples. I mean, look at the size of these bad boys. They smash every pane of glass on the greenhouse. So we're basically going to be replacing the greenhouse with our new shed. So first things first, we have to take this greenhouse out. Now, I don't think we've actually shown you guys this corner of the garden before. I'm pretty sure that we actually did this way back, like beginning of the summer, and we didn't actually film it. So this area is our kind of like morning seating, woodland, wood chip kind of seating area. We've got these 3 benches that we made up. We painted all these up and gave them a whole new lease of life, put new wood on them. But we're going into autumn and we're probably not going to be sat out here much longer. Look at this. This autumn, we got leaves everywhere. We're gonna move these benches around, and then all of the painted bits of shed, I think we're gonna have to start stacking this over here. So we've actually got a bit of area and a bit of space, because otherwise if we leave it on the grass is basically gonna die, and we don't want that. So as you can see, we still have a hell of a lot of painting to do. And as you can see, the space is fully opened up, and pretty much exactly where the greenhouse was is where the new shed is going to go. But obviously, being a greenhouse area, this soil here is obviously really nice and fluffy, like veg patch kind of soil. So we don't want to lose that and just put the shed straight on top of it. So the plan is now I'm going to basically dig out this nice soil back onto the veg patch. As you can see, I've already done a little bit here, and then I'm gonna have to properly get the measurements of the exact size of the shed. But what we're also gonna do as well is basically bring out some of this grass as well. So when the shed goes down, we can actually use these odds and end like paving slabs and put a bit of a slabbed paving area in front of the shed. So basically I've got to dig all of this out and then put a nice solid base down for the shed and for those patio slabs. So we've kind of made some progress and we've kind of jumped forward a little bit now. As you can see, I've made a big mess. I've just carried on digging and I wasn't quite sure how much I needed to dig out. I've put all of the soil over there and I just kept finding myself digging more and more and more because there's not really anything level with this garden. So what I've done now off camera is actually build this piece of wood in along here, and I've also added these old stones which actually came from our old conservatory which was knocked down a few years ago. We're still reusing all of that stuff, and as you can see here, it basically joins all of the bricks which go up the path of the garden. Obviously this bit of the path of the garden isn't quite done yet. By adding this piece of wood in here now basically gives me a nice straight edge, a nice straight level, so when I'm digging I can actually basically create a level off of that. And I'm just about to put this piece of wood in on here now because we're still going to be having a veg patch over here, and obviously when I'm like digging this out to get the shed base ready, I need to make sure that the shed is actually going to be perfectly level and not falling down the garden. So by adding this, it's going to give me a nice straight edge. And as you can see here, I've actually dug out probably about that much, too much of the soil, so I can try to sort of like backfill it with all of this soil. Yeah, it's kind of messy and kind of muddy. And this is just typical standard James and Hollie fashion right about now. We decided to do all of the outdoor work, building a shed, building all of this groundworks and stuff in the middle of October in England. And it's absolutely bucketing it down right now. I'm kind of taking cover under a tree. The wood's up over there. It's not going to stop anytime soon. I just want to get the shed done. So I would say that we're at the fun bit now, but this is the heavy bit. Not necessarily fun, but it feels like we're actually getting somewhere now. Okay, so many wheelbarrows later and quite a few days later now, all of the hardcore, or type 1, I believe it's called, type 1 hardcore is now in the base. And as you can see, it's a pretty solid shed base. The level is pretty good. I've got it as square as possible, but as you can see with this contraption over here, I think these are called whackers, I don't really know. And basically this is a machine that basically whacks all of this hardcore down to give it an even more solid base. But I have no idea how to even turn this thing on. There's a couple of switches, but I don't even know what's on and off. So as you can see, the whacker has done a really good job at giving us almost a perfectly level, solid ground, a solid base to build the shed on. But before we build the shed, there are a few more things we have to do first. So as you can see now, we have finally put down the weed guard, which is going to cover this whole area. I haven't done the bit in front of the shed yet because that's going to be done in a separate job because I just want to get this shed done now. I've done a slight wider bit because this is going to be a kind of store bit down the side of the shed. So basically this is going to stop any weeds growing up through. And as you can see here, I've started to put down this stuff. Basically this stuff is used for like driveways and shed bases. You put it down like this and then you fill it with like a fine gravel, like a pea gravel, which really helps to take any moisture and rain and water away from the actual shed, which should stop it basically rotting out in the future, because that is the main problem we had with our old shed, is the fact that whoever put that one up before literally just plonked it straight onto soil, so it's rotted out, it's getting eaten by rats and stuff. So basically this should give us a nice proper solid secure base, and it should last for a very, very long time. Okay, so some of you might think that this is all a little bit overkill, a little bit too much for a shed base, but I'm a bit of a believer in doing things right the first time. And basically I don't want to have to redo this, whether we live here for like another year, 5 years or 50 years. I never want to have to think about building a shed or a shed base ever again.
So if you're wondering why I haven't really been in this video very much, it's because I've just spent the whole time painting. And yes, we are painting the inside of the shed, which we'll build in the next video.